Hey there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All Educational Videos channel. We are continuing with... sleepy. We are continuing with learning Scratch blocks, we are continuing with making Scratch tutorials, and in this video today we are going to try to learn how and when to use Scratch block which is named setVariableTo. Okay, let's go to Scratch to see that in action. In last videos we have learned how to show and hide variables, which will be sometimes important for your game. In most cases you will just want to hide them. You will only show a couple of those. One of those which you will need to show is like game score, player health and so on, which we have on our screen already. That's cool. And today we are going to learn how to set set variable to. I was confused with this game score already in. Okay, so if you have selected some kind of other Scratch group of Scratch blocks, click on the variables group, the orange one, almost the last one, and then find set variable to. Set my variable if you don't have any other, or if you have made some kind of custom variable, then the first one will be selected. Okay, so what this variable does. This variable does what it says on the Scratch block. It's simple. It just set some kind of value to your variable. As we have learned before, variables are some kind of containers, some kind of boxes where you can store some kind of information. That information can be number, it can be text, and so on. So for example, your game score will be, if you make a variable which is named game score, we have done that in previous videos, then you can store some kind of score numbers in it, and that's what we are going to do in next few videos. But before you store something in it, you have to set it. You have to say what is the default number for that box, for that container, for that variable. So for example, if you are playing games, you know that score almost always starts with 0. Sometimes you can, I don't know, buy some kind of in-application purchases, so you can start with something already, but in a split of a second every game will start with your game score with 0. So I will first duplicate this one. So let's click and drag this to when green flag clicked, set game score to 0. That's already by default here when we are making variables. So when you make variable, by default it will be 0, as we can see here. Game score is 0, cat player health is 0. But for example, if I choose player health, so if I stop for a few seconds and think about it, if I start my game, what will player health be from the start? If it's 0, that means player is dead. That doesn't make sense, right? So it must be something else. In most of the games it's 100 or something like that, to represent 100%. So my health is 100%, so I will put 100 and I will click and drag it here to when green flag clicked. And now when I start my game, look at this variable cat player health, which will say 100. Simple as that. Okay, so that's it. That's again very simple. Most of those variables blocks are simple to use, but they are very powerful in combination, and when you start to make more complex game, you will have to use them. You will have to put some kind of information, number, text into some kind of variable, then store it, then use it later, and so on. We will look at that in our complete game tutorials, but for now on this is more than enough. So you don't have to use these exact numbers which I'm using now. So for example, I don't know if you make some kind of platformer games, so in those cases, yeah, I think Super Mario or those have like 4 hearts. One heart is their the health represents health, so Super Mario has 3 or 4 health. I don't know, I forgot, but anyway, you can use that, or no, 3 lives, sorry. Yeah, we can make yeah, we can show that. I will leave player health to 100, and I will make another one which says I am making another variable, and I will call it player lives, or just lives. For all sprites, for this sprite only. Yeah, I will make it for this sprite only, and it says 0. I don't want my cat to start with 0 lives. I want my cat to start with 3 lives. Simple as that. We will probably we won't probably need lives cat lives variable in our game, because it's not going to be some kind of game where you can die or shoot or something like that, but I have just made it here to show it how to do it if you need it in your game. And again, if you need to change it, just type it some other number here. So for example, in maybe cat needs to have 9 lives, so that makes more sense for cats. So that's it for this variable. And if you have followed our previous lesson, you probably know that as I just did here, when I made a variable and when I picked this for all sprites or for these sprites only, I have chosen this sprite only for my cat lives. And you can see on screen on the stage, although I have named my variable lives, before that lives name there is some kind of other name which says cat. And why is that so? Well, it's so because the sprite which I'm using here is cat, and I said this variable is made for this sprite only, so Scratch shows it on the screen. It's cat sprite, so this sprite has lives variable. Simple as that. But just if you're confused, if you were confused by it, you know now why is that so. Okay, this lesson I think it's over. Yes, set game score. You will probably use this kind of set variable in the start of the game, as I have just did. I have used them here when my game starts, when green flag clicks, because that's where you want to set your variables mostly. Not always, sometimes you will use them when you enter some kind of new level and so on, but for the most time and for the player you will probably use them at the start. So set the game score to 0, set the player health to 100, and set lives to 9. Simple as that, and it works nice. That's it for this video. Keep on learning, keep on sharing and knowledge and everything you can with other people, and I will meet you in the next video, and until then, all the best. Bye for now.